Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Palmtop podcast. My name is Alex.
And my name is Kyle, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a bit. We're watching Hyouka.
Hyouka. All right, so we just started part one of what should be the three-part series. I wouldn't be surprised if it's four. Oh, God. All right, so we're going to leave off halfway here, which is going to be just great. But yeah, no, I think I mentioned this before in the previous episode, but when I think of Hyouka, I think of this arc.
That's outstanding because already it starts with the most Hyouka-esque situation where it's just literature club, please solve this mystery, but in the movie that's not finished being made yet. So we have a bilateral system of mysteries of why was it not finished and who actually is supposed to be the killer in this haunted house.
All right, so let's do a quick breakdown.
All right,
so we have our main group of people going in watching a student film that was made by another class that has no ending to it because the writer got very sick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they only filmed up to basically where they find the body. So you have all the components to figure out who did it, but the class doesn't know quite who did. So they enlist the help of our main characters. And they're like, all right, well, we're not going to have you guys solve this. We're going to have you in on a debate from our crew to see if you agree with one of them. So that's where we're going right now is this big debate between three parties. We have the assistant director, we have the art director, and we have the PR person.
All the creative positions.
Yes,
on film.
all the exact ones you'd want. So they're going to be having a discussion in this episode. And Oreki is going to get a little bit of sparked interest because he loves a good challenge, even though he doesn't want to admit it.
Now, is there going to be a character that pulls it out of him, or is it more like the situation?
Well, I mean, isn't that every episode?
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably get every opportunity to be like, all right, cool, I listened, I'm going home. It's like, but Oreki, we didn't come to a thing.
One of the parties is we need to know and has a different sparkly eye situation.
Also, we encounter, how can I phrase this? This is going to shape our cookie cutter a little different. Whereas every mystery so far has kind of come up with a certain structure. To make this into a 4-parter, we have a little, maybe something's wrong with our cookie cutter here. Maybe a little broken end. We'll have to see.
So classic mystery TV show drama where it's here's our proposed hypothesis, then it turns out to be incorrect.
What happens when Columbo's magic touch
One more thing
might not be the be all end all?
2 more things.
Okay.
Terrible joke.
Oh God. Yeah. For all those Columbo watchers, I'm
sure.
sure.
None of you.
Yeah. I mean, no, legitimately though, if you ever want a show that kind of has the same kind of Oreki-esque character, watch 100%. Columbo.
100%. Yeah.
It's entertaining. All right, but let's roll into these next episodes because I just really want to get down to the mystery.
You know what? I actually had a moment where I was like, oh, wait, maybe it is 3 parts. And then they did the 4th part cliffhanger so perfectly that my hair stood up.
You were so ready for that explanation.
I was
being
patting my
final
back.
One. Yep, you're like, yep, nope, that totally makes sense. And guess what? It totally fucking does. But it's wrong.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's just fan fiction.
It's so crazy. Oh God! All right, we're gonna
let's jump to part 2 to the beginning.
Completely get into this, but we start off with everyone kind of just taking in all the facts. Everyone's sitting down with the three, the assistant director, the props guy, and the PR person, and they get some more facts. That every time we're given it, it's not only accepted facts, but their ideas for. What the solution completely shut.
It's also their idea of how the movie should have been made.
Yeah.
Which I love because it's such a teenage ego drama of being in a film club where it's just I think no one cares about the mystery. It's about the action. So here's my Showa era Japanese movie ending.
I really like that we're getting our group together to interact with very different character types.
Yeah.
We haven't had the fun musclehead or the bubbly I'm very fun girl.
You get the Haruhi.
Yeah. Or like the, I'm so smart. Look at me adjust my glasses with my thumb and index finger over the front.
Yes, I believe Arthur Conan Doyle is decent.
Yeah, I just really like the kind of humor and play these guys had. Like,
Mhm.
who, if like one of our characters totally bought into it or was totally like, no, you're full of shit. I hate people like you.
It was a great way to distance this part from the other episodes, which is all about like this group expressing themselves in the mystery. And then it was made even better by literally like removing Chitanda from the equation.
Through little drunken
Literal
candies.
whiskey. Which, like, have you ever had whiskey chocolate?
I have, and now I know for a fact that it is impossible to do this to yourself accidentally.
It has to be a mission.
Like you have to struggle through it.
I had half of one from a Celtic shop, so it was very, very Scottish.
Oh
and
boy.
I was like, wow, I already know what my breath looks like. Oh man, I really like that they had those dynamic characters, and even more so, we have the two mystery characters, the assistant, the friend to Hongo, the screenwriter, and then we have Irisu, who is just you and I were talking about this. We couldn't help but talk about it. That like, what a great character that just literally is armed to the tooth with anything you might ask.
This person is almost set up with a skill set rather as a main character. Like I can see this whole show being about a character like her who just also gets put in situations like Oreki, but always has the answer to them.
Have you ever watched Monk? Because it's literally that.
Yeah. I feel like she's a bit more authoritative than Monk.
She's a little more waifu material than Monk.
Yeah, well, hey, come on. Don't
don't knock Monk.
Look, don't shit on the only body pillow I have.
Oh man, you're right. I really like the scene where she solicits Oreki and's like, hey, listen, these people are all skilled, but they're not skilled at deducting a mystery.
Also, she completely caught him in a literal trap.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole setup of, hey, did you listen to my like super smart people figure it out? And it's like, no, they're all dumb. Ha! You fell from a trap card. Now you're interested, right? And he's just like, and then I'm gonna change the wheels a bit here. She does what no one has ever done to Oreki.
Yep.
And that's be like, hey, you're really smart and kind of a genius and have this gift. And then Oreki then has to look at himself, go, am I different? Am I special? That really sets us up for the next plot point. But what do you think of that scene?
I'm really glad that you told me, because we're watching the English dub. So I'm really glad that you told me before I realized that kind of they had royalties. They were a little loose with the script sometimes, which is not a problem. But when they have the visual language of a rose-colored life, and I only knew about that because you told me beforehand, that's the only reason that moment had so much resonance to me, is that when Irisu says you are someone special, before she even says one of my favorite lines, which was something to the effect of if you do not take a compliment, you make a fool of those who praise you.
Yes, that's a very good line.
Before that line, she says, Oreki, I think you are someone special, and he sees a rose-colored petal, and suddenly the room almost, you don't even see it, the room just starts to just lighten up a bit.
Yep.
Because he is feeling a human level of praise. He's letting himself stoop on that.
Yeah, he doesn't get to stick in this little gloom world anymore.
And it's not by force the way Chitanda drags him out, literally pulls him into the frame, but she gives him an icy glare and goes, I want to know. I would like to know, or I need to know, I think it was.
And then you really get to see a change in Oreki after this. He actually, of his own accord, goes back to school during summer vacation to and literally is telling everyone, I'm going to figure out this mystery. It's like, what? We have to drag your ass around all day, and then maybe you'll do it if Chitanda stares at your face for a while.
Can we sidebar and talk about that scene with Fukube and Oreki?
Okay.
Oreki is now a little snake bit by being like, he's thinking about praise and like how like if you are good at something, you should own up to it and you should be a person about it, humble. but also aware of your skill. And he talks to Fukube, and Fukube's little character detail that we got from him is that he loves Sherlock Holmes. And he also does not think he's talented in any area. He thinks he is a jack of all trades. And if
Master of none.
Yeah. If someone else was to do something he considers himself exemplary in, they would probably do it better.
Knowing what I know of what the show kind of comes to pass, this actually is I'm going to use the phrase here, tent pole for basically what's going to be his character development throughout the rest of the series.
Oh, okay.
And this is kind of where an idea occurs. That's just it's going to start lingering from here, and then you're going to kind of see this character in a different lens.
I see, because they did this really fun edit where Fukube is like, I don't think I am very qualified to be a Sherlockian. I just something I like to be, and I'm okay with this position. And Oreki does a very uncharacteristic holler, and he's like, I think that you would be great. You would be a great detective. You'd be a great what do you call problem solver if you put your mind to it. And Fukube, he's passive about it. He's like, no, I think I'm very jealous of you. And there's this like edit where we see an extreme close-up of his eyes turning back twice, which I can't decide if it's Oreki seeing it as he feels like a fool for his praise being turned down, or is it Fukube's like honest feelings about the situation? I was so captivated by that. It's been in my head since we watched it.
I'll tell you, it's more the latter.
Okay.
That was kind of the exact point I was talking about with the tent pole.
I see.
Where we're going to kind of get into like where the shaky ground lies between these two friends. We're just going to see that kind of develop. Not so much like dive in there, but just know that like these two feel inadequate in one way or another about certain things about each other. But like that's just kind of a part of friendship. Like there's always kind of shaky ground between friends in some kind of category.
Yeah.
Like not everyone's perfect in getting along. And this is kind of where I start to see that develop. This is all like how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot may or may not go into that in detail. It's just something I want to point out now.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
It's exactly that thing that Irisu was talking about. And I'm like late to the party connecting all of it about the bench warmer.
Yep.
Wow. This show's really well put together. You know what? I think I'm just noticing. It just sure is talented.
One thing I will say, is that Oreki's change, at least I also felt this when I first watched it. It feels very hollow. It almost feels like his ego is just a little bit inflated now.
It's over the course of a scene.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like that's what's dragging him more than actual drive. It's just like, oh no, I'm a genius and I solved the mystery and now everyone's praising me and I'm getting this big head about it. But then that one little seed of doubt comes in at the end.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, but what was the rope for? And he's like, oh, fudge, but I didn't say fudge. I have a question for you.
Please.
Before we end our episode, Chitanda says she'll talk to Oreki later. What do you think that's going to be about?
I think Chitanda figured it out. Because Chitanda's been kind of under Oreki's wing, and after the Hyouka incident where he figured out something that was so important to her, she's been doing her damnedest to like figure out how to be a more deductive problem solver. She was on point for a lot of things, like when they were like, this is a locked room mystery. There's a window. That must be the way out. And she's like, well, the writer may have not seen the room. So we're seeing her catch up in a level of critical thinking.
I'll do a little something to wet your whistle here for next week. None of them accept Oreki's answer.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of them and their thoughts on it. With no disrespect to me, but this is the first time that I felt on the same page as Oreki. So was this all the ego stemming from his head is what I'm wondering, because it was such a simple solution.
Yep. It's very obvious that he jumped to the easiest thing he could go to here because he wanted to put more effort into being like,
He kind of wanted to impress her a little bit.
Exactly. So here, I'm going to give you the flashiest answer when he didn't take the time to think of the right answer.
Oh, man.
This is kind of what I was saying before, where the Columbo thing doesn't really go right.
Kyle, I felt smart for a second, and it was swept under my feet.
You fell for the red herring. But
it's Rose. It's a Rose herring.
We're going to finish off this 4-parter next week. And I have no idea because we didn't look at the next episode what it's going to be after that.
I can tell you, oh my God, guys, I figured out this mystery. Kyle doesn't know that the next episode after the 4th part is the OVA that is the middle episode between episodes 11 and 12.
Wait, is it?
Yeah. 11.5 next time.
All right.
Color me excited because I think neither of us know what the OVA is about.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not quite sure what that one's about, but feeling your picture might be coming up in the next episode, buddy.
We say this every time. When I get that shot of Fukuba holding a gun to Oreki.
No, it's Oreki holding a gun.
No, it's Kyon holding a gun.
Oh, what? Oh, my God.